Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 36. We're available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with iTunes, Spotify, and many more. Today, we're going to talk about the general news, such as Daredevil in Spider-Man 3, EVO 2020, and the Xbox gameplay conference thing. Then we're going to get into our recent activities, and then lastly, we're going to talk about everything related to The Last of Us news. No spoilers or leaks there. We're just going to talk about what happened with that entire situation. So first piece of news is that Nintendo said that they have at least 2 to 3 years worth of content for Animal Crossing, which is like updates and things like that. So we already saw that with like the Mayday stuff. So for me personally, at this point within Animal Crossing, I know a lot of people are still playing the game like daily, like still clocking in like 6 to 8 hours a day, which is great for them. For me personally, I kind of just played every day as to like just, pick the fruit, catch the bugs, get the fossils sort of thing. I'm not really like playing as much as I was before. If I were to like extend my playtime normally, it would be like going to like an island or something like that.
I'm basically the same exact way. Usually I play like an hour a day just to like get any fossils, get any fruits and things like that. But yeah, I usually don't really play that long anymore. Maybe if it's like the first day of the month when I go catch like the fish or bugs or whatever, then I play a lot. But usually I take it kind of slow now because there's not much to do after you've done all that stuff. But it's good to hear that they're gonna keep adding content for like 2 to 3 years. There's still like big features that are not in this game that were in New Leaf. Like gyroids aren't in this game, and that's probably gonna be an update. The cafe is not in this game either, but it might be an update as well. And maybe just like new events and things like that. Like I really enjoyed the Mayday stuff. That was cool. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to see them like add like new content to the game for like years to come, and it makes sense since the game like sold like crazy. So there's a big install base to like enjoy these updates. So yeah, I think it's a smart move by Nintendo to keep supporting this game.
Yeah, like I don't know what exactly was so appealing to me when I played New Leaf when it first came out, because honestly, like I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of that game, and I played that game for like months. But I don't know, like it's only been like a month or two, probably just a month since like New Horizons has come out, and I'm like already kind of done with it, unfortunately. Maybe it's just because I've gotten older or something like that, but I still like the game, obviously. It's just that now I'm kind of just like doing whatever.
Yeah, I think that's fair because the game is like kind of like made to like be played like that. It's just meant to like, hey, play a little bit each day and then that's it. Like it's like the game was designed not to make you like play like for hours on end. And those people that do play hours on end usually are doing like a bunch of crazy stuff for the islands and things like that. So and you can see that effort on like Twitter or whatever when people make like these crazy islands, and that's cool for them. But I'm the type of player to just like I'm pretty happy with my island. I haven't done too much terraforming or whatever. I'm just happy making money and doing things like that. So, but that's the good thing about this game is that you can like enjoy it at your own pace and things like that. So that's why I like playing the game.
Like when I got terraforming, I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I was like, wait, this shit's like kind of like scary. I was like, there's a lot you could do. So I was just like, I'm not even gonna touch it. So but to those people that are doing that kind of stuff, go for it.
Yeah, basically. Again, Animal Crossing is all about playing on your own pace and things like that. So don't feel like ashamed if you're not playing it every day or whatever. All right, so the next bit of news here, we got Charlie Cox, and I think he plays as Daredevil, right, in Netflix ones.
So This was like a rumor that was going around, and pretty much he did a interview and he like shut it down pretty much.
Yeah, so they were just saying like, hey, like there was rumors that he was supposed to be in Spider-Man 3, and the Spider-Man 3 as in like the next Disney Spider-Man movies, and he's just like, nah. Apparently like they can't do anything with the Defenders until like a certain date, which is November 29th, 2020.
For Daredevil anyways.
Yeah, for Daredevil anyway, yeah.
Some of the characters are going into 2021. Some of them are earlier than November 29th.
Yeah, it's because he was the first one to like get the show. So yeah, it makes sense that his thing gets expired sooner, right? So.
I think some deals were like extended. For example, like Jessica Jones and like The Punisher. I think the reason why they're a little further down the line is because they made like shows after because they were like, yeah, we want to do like Jessica Jones season 3, the Punisher season 2, because I'm pretty sure the Punisher wasn't even like on the tables for them, but they saw that a lot of people like that character in Daredevil season 2. But yeah, so when it comes to this rumor, I think Marvel legally can't even talk to Charlie Cox like about him playing Daredevil for like upcoming movies and projects with them, because they can't do that legally, obviously. So I think that this like him like shutting it down isn't like the end of the world, because honestly, like if anyone else were to play the character, I don't know who else it could be. Like obviously they could get someone else that I don't know of, and they could probably do a really good job. But like if you've watched all 3 seasons, or even just like season 1 of Daredevil, like you know that Charlie Cox is more than capable of playing this role, and I think a lot of fans would be happy if he came back to play this role, because he just did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense too, like that, you know, he would be in like a Spider-Man movie and stuff like that, and it would make more sense that he was the one to like reprise the role, because it was weird in like the Justice League movie, like they didn't use any of like the CW actors to like use different like flashes and things like that. You know, like Flash was a different character or a different person than he was in like the CW show and things like that. So it's nice to have like that consistency, like, oh, this person's just Daredevil now. So if they, hopefully they do consider like, you know, making like Daredevil like a part of the MCU after like all these, you know, legal stuff is over. But you know, because it would be kind of sad if he wasn't Daredevil anymore. But I guess that's just up to Marvel, right? So I don't think he really has too much of a say in it, really, if they don't want him to be Daredevil.
Yeah, because he said in the comicbook.com article that like he would be more than willing to like, you know, come back to like play the character. It's just a matter of, you know, if Marvel's gonna do it. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, because, you know, legal dates and, you know, contracts and things like that. So we just gotta wait, especially within the crazy world that we're living in right now. We just gotta wait. So
yeah, things are all crazy. No one knows what's happening anymore. So
speaking of crazy, EVO 2020 has been canceled and will be held online. So yeah, I mean, this just makes sense, because you know, with the current state of the world, with the whole COVID-19 situation, I think delaying everything right now makes sense, especially with this event that was supposed to happen like pretty soon. You know, it was supposed to happen like July, August sort of thing. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna cancel it. I know the main thing that people are memeing about, especially for the Smash community, is that, oh shit, EVO Online, because Smashers have been playing online tournaments for like the past month or so, and like obviously online play for Smash Brothers is 100% not the same as playing on land.
Yeah.
So that is just gonna be interesting, because I've seen like clips of like finals for like online tournaments where like people just like DC and it's like a like Sonic versus like another like campy character, and I'm like, this is not cool. Like
I'm surprised they even still doing like EVO like online. Like I feel like they should have just canceled it outright. Like I know they want to keep the spirit alive, as they say in the tweet, but I don't know, like some games online, like especially Smash, like I don't know how that's gonna go over. Like I feel like a lot of people are going to be super salty just because, like, you know, some connections weren't good enough or whatever. Like you were saying, people just DC and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. I feel like it probably would just been better if they just canceled it, honestly. But, hey, I mean, if some online... I don't know how the netcode are for, like, the other games on EVO, but Smash is just like, yeah, that ain't going to happen, dude. Like, Smash Online is just not very good, so...
Yeah, it just seems, you know, extremely... you know, interesting situation. Obviously, I'm glad that they're still going to hold the event. I wonder how many people are still going to watch EVO, just because like most people are probably going to be at home still and things like that. So yeah, if there's a DC anywhere within the you know, like quarterfinals, sort of like, you know, higher parts of the bracket for any game, it's going to be funny, and it's going to end up on like live stream fails and all over Twitter. So can't wait for that to happen, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting time. It might be like a good test on like how like such a large scale tournament could be online. I guess like that could be a cool little thing to like get from this. But yeah, it's gonna be weird. All right.
Okay.
So is Wakiki? You know, I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Like
Taika.
Yeah, Taika Wakiki. So he's the guy who directed Ragnarok, right? Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
He also did the last episode.
And, Mandalorian, right? Yeah. Well, he's set to direct and co-write a Star Wars movie. So That's pretty good. I mean, you know, from his work from from like the last episode of Mandalorian, which I thought was really, really good, and Ragnarok, which I think is like one of my favorite MCU movies and like just best Thor movie, which isn't really saying much, but you know, it was a really good movie. Seeing him gonna make like a whole Star Wars movie is gonna be good because you know, the Star Wars films right now have been not great. Like I liked Rogue One. Rogue One was good because it wasn't like a part of like the new sequel trilogy. But honestly, like most of the new sequels have been like pretty not great. Like I only watched the first one, Force Awakens, and I thought it was pretty good. But people had issues with it being like too like similar to like the older movies and stuff like that. And then The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalkers, I didn't even watch, but those are like, that's a whole chain fire right there. So, so it's gonna be nice to see like other directors and things get their hands on Star Wars to like do something different and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's always good that they bring in new directors and things like that because I think Star Wars is in a very like horrible state right now. I feel like people really like the side stuff because the main stuff right now has been like pretty bad. So
yeah. So when it comes to me in like Star Wars films, so when it comes to like the new Disney trilogy, which is what people or some people dub it, the Force Awakens I thought was good. The Last Jedi, which was the second one, I thought that one was also pretty good. Despite like the things that the director did, I thought that movie was really, really fun to watch, and I honestly really, really enjoyed it. Rian Johnson, you know, like people will meme him in the Star Wars community, but like no matter what you say about that guy, like that guy just makes great movies because he later went on to make Knives Out, and that movie is just fantastic. And then they brought JJ back for the last movie, and then you know he kind of had to like clean up what Rian Johnson did, to sort of like fix everything for a last movie, and like the Rise of Skywalker was kind of just like him trying to piece everything together and at the same time sort of like resolve what The Last Jedi did in a way. And that kind of sucks because like honestly, like if they were going to like make this sort of like new trilogy, they should have just like kept one director on, had one vision, had a whole plan out before they even release The Force Awakens sort of thing. It sort of felt like that they were just going along with whatever was happening, which kind of is bad because it felt like that they didn't have like a real plan and a real structure to get to where we ended sort of thing, which sucks. And The Rise of Skywalker, first time I watched it, I thought it was okay. And then I watched it a second time and I was like, all right, this is like kind of bad, not going to lie. But yeah, like you said, the side stuff for Star Wars for the most part is like really, really, really good. Like The Mandalorian is like a huge example. And Taika Waititi, you know, he's coming on to direct and co-write a new Star Wars film. I think that is really, really good because I think just by the last episode of The Mandalorian, he has like a good idea of like what's interesting about Star Wars and what makes Star Wars sort of thing. So I'm very interested to go and see what kind of movie he's going to make because I'm pretty sure right now, since we're done with like this whole trilogy thing, and when Disney first got the Star Wars license, you know, they wanted to do a movie every single year. You know, they would do the Force Awakens, and then they did that really bad like spin-off one. I forget the name of it. But you know, like they were trying to make Star Wars like a yearly thing, and then they quickly realized that wasn't gonna work because once they released Solo, which honestly like that's not a bad Star Wars movie. Like that movie's honestly like decent at best, maybe even good if you can, you know, tolerate through it. Because personally I really like it. Just because of like Donald Glover and like the actors in that movie do like a pretty good job in my opinion. But once they realize that like they can't do this shit yearly, they're like, all right, let's like slow down and like actually like take a moment to like see what we want to do with it. So hopefully with this one, it's gonna be good, probably. But if not, shit happens, you know. They just need to go back to the drawing board once again. But I know that Taika Waititi, he has been a rising figure within the movie and film world just because of his work on, like you said, Thor 3 and I believe Jojo Rabbit. I've not watched that movie yet, but I heard that it was like really, really good and like one of the best movies of last year. So very excited to go and see what he is planning to do with this one.
Yeah, hopefully he could save Star Wars because it hasn't been good. All right, so next we have the Xbox Series X gameplay first look. Gameplay in quotes.
Man.
All right, so basically they just showed a bunch of games. It's supposed to show the power of the Xbox Series X, basically, I guess. But I guess the main criticism for this presentation is that a lot of these games were kind of just not actual gameplay. So I've seen a lot of people get super upset because it's supposed to show the gameplay that this new console could really show, but it was mostly just what you would expect from an E3 trailers, where it's mostly pre-rendered stuff or just heavily scripted gameplay sections. So yeah, that's sort of the main complaints that are getting thrown around for this presentation here. But in terms of the games themselves, most of them looked fine. I guess we have a few right here. We got Bright Memory Infinite, which was that first-person shooter game. I mean, it looked cool, but it didn't really grab my eye or anything like that. I was just okay, that looked cool, I guess.
It's definitely a super stylized FPS game that I'm kind of oh, look, that looks cool. I'm probably not gonna buy it at launch though.
Yeah, I guess that's the issue with most launch games in general. Most of them end up being very just forgettable and stuff like that, and no one really remembers them a year or two later. So yeah, and I feel that's what most of the issues with this game. The only game that really I feel people were excited for was Masquerade: The Bloodline 2, which is that vampire game that has a big cult following. I know people were excited for that, and the new Yakuza game people were excited for. But besides those two and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a lot of these games were just whatever. I'm trying to remember. The only other one I really remember is that anime game, the Scarlet Nexus. Where you play as some anime kid and you have psychic powers.
Yeah, I was what is going on here? This shit looks kind of dope though.
It does, honestly. But the only so I noticed with some of these trailers was when it did show gameplay, a lot of the gameplay was chugging and things like that. Especially with that anime game, when things were exploding and things like that, you can see the game really starts to chug. I'm I don't know why companies always think it's a good idea to show your game just dying, especially when it's supposed to highlight how powerful this console is, and then you're showing it chugging like that. I'm come on. So yeah.
Definitely very interesting to call this a gameplay presentation instead of just hey, first look at Xbox Series One X games. I think that would have been better, and then maybe you put parentheses conference or something like that. But yeah, a lot of people were definitely thrown off by the fact that most of these games were kind of just generic, traditional trailers with splices of gameplay here and there, but it wasn't a dedicated sort of gameplay conference, which is what it was advertised just by the name itself.
Yeah.
And especially the last game, the Assassin's Creed game, it was oh shit, we're gonna get gameplay, and then it was just nice CGI cutscene here. I don't know, Xbox are definitely ahead of Sony still, just because we know a lot more about the Xbox Series X, 100%. We don't even know what the hell the PS5 looks like, or how well, or what games are gonna be on it, sort of thing. At least for the Xbox, coming out of this conference, we know that a lot of publishers and a lot of developers are on board with this platform, just because of how many logos they flash at us at that one part of the conference, in the middle. So that is very good, because I think a lot of support for a new upcoming console is very important, or else you're going to end up like the Wii U, where you got jack shit on there. So that is very good. But other than that, most of the games they showed looked interesting, but I'm not gonna remember most of them. For example, there was a game in here called Call of the Sea, where you're I don't know, exploring as a fish or something like that. I was I don't know what's going on here, but
yeah,
okay.
There's some dinosaur game, you shoot dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, that shit, not gonna lie, that looked kind of dope.
That did look kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie either.
What was the name of that game? I think
I can't remember. It was Second Extinction, right?
Yeah, Second Extinction. I was all right, this looks like a fun $20-$30 game that I would buy and just play with my friends, sort of thing. But yeah, it just seems like a lot of the games, if you're into them, you're into them. If you're not, you're not, sort of thing. Because personally, this conference was just super duper meh. Even if it wasn't advertised as gameplay, it just seems yeah, whatever, sort of thing.
Yeah.
because I think Microsoft is trying to get ahead of E3 or like ahead of like the E3 like timing. But like now, like when E3 comes around, like the shit you show better be fucking dope, because right now it kind of just looks
I think they will. Like, I think this is more like just to like show, just to get people hyped, I guess. But it kind of did the opposite. But I expect them to do like a bigger thing where they reveal like more prominent games and things like that. Like Halo or whatever. So yeah, I guess these are just games that you would expect for a launch titles. Like these are all games I would expect to be launch title games. So yeah, I get people's disappointment, but I also didn't really expect. I mean, I did expect more gameplay, honestly, but that's fine. Yeah, it was just like very eh. I feel like that's how most of these go, like state of plays. Like whenever it's like non E3 conference type stuff, it's usually pretty meh if it's not Nintendo. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't even know if this was announced before they did it. I'm not entirely sure because I don't follow Microsoft like that, but I kind of just like woke up yesterday. I was like, oh shit, there was a Microsoft conference. I guess I have to watch it now, sort of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it like 2 days before it happened. I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening. I should probably watch it.
Yeah, it just seems like PlayStation and Microsoft don't have the same amount of excitement as like Nintendo fans have when like a Direct's gonna happen, sort of thing.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, Nintendo's been doing it for like a very long time at this point, so I guess they know what they're doing. But even then, a lot of people hate a lot of the Directs anyway. So it seems to go like if it's not like a major title like Halo or like whatever for Sony, and with Nintendo, if it's not like a Zelda or Mario game or like some other big Nintendo franchise, people always get upset. So yeah, you can't really please anyone.
True.
And we've learned that from the past Directs we've covered. So.
All right, so let's get into recent activities. Once again, I got a decent amount, so I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Actually, I don't have it written here, but I do want to talk about the Animal Crossing like update they did for May Day. I thought that was really neat. So basically, you talk to Tom Nook, and he gives you like a ticket to go to like a special island. And when you go to that island, it's like a little maze puzzle thing. So you like go through the maze, and you could like get like a different bell vouchers and things like that, and then you could talk to Rover at the end to get like an item. I just thought it was a really cool little gameplay thing because Animal Crossing doesn't really have gameplay per se. You kind of just like do whatever. So it was neat to have like this little like maze challenge thing, and I kind of hope to do more of those special like island maps because I thought that was really fun. So I hope they do like more of those little obstacle courses because I thought that was pretty neat. And also, I don't have it written here, but I played a little bit of that Mario Maker 2 update that came out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I also thought it was really cool. The world map like adds so much to that game, and I felt like it probably should have been there from the start. I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed with, not disappointed, but people were a little underwhelmed with Mario Maker 2 because it kind of launched and just like it's Mario Maker but on Switch, and we have a little more stuff. And that's cool and stuff, but I feel like this world map really adds more to this game. Like they did a lot of cool things with it. Like you can just have different bonus games. You can have all the different worlds, and it just makes people's levels feel more meaningful. I guess like you could like actually make like a whole Mario like game. It's just really neat. A lot of the new power ups are also really cool, like the frog suit and things like that. You could do a lot of cool stuff. I haven't really played too much of it, but I played a little bit of it, and I really enjoyed what I played. So. Anyway, for the main things I was playing, I finished Persona 5 Royal finally. I thought it was fantastic. Again, like I said last time when I talked about it, a lot of the quality of life things were very appreciated. It basically makes the original game like, just don't buy it. Like, just buy this game instead. I think the quality of life is very much like nice. Like I didn't even knew I needed this stuff until it was in this game. So that's appreciated. The final things in the end, like sort of like the whole epilogue chapter was very good. The final like dungeon they added was really well designed. I really liked the whole plot with the 2 new characters and stuff like that. Overall, it was just a fantastic end. I thought it was just a better ending than the original game. Since I don't want to give too much away, but it's just kind of annoying. Not annoying, but it's just like I thought the game ended better before the actual final bit in the original game, and I'm glad like it sort of like made up for it for this final like epilogue thing. I think it just ended better, so I'm happy that they kind of had a chance to like redo the ending. So. Yeah, I really enjoyed Royal. I thought it was a good like sort of enhancement to the original game. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And secondly, I've been playing some Dragon Quest Heroes, which is like if you know Dynasty Warrior games, it's basically that but with Dragon Quest. I got it on sale because it was like a big sale on PlayStation. So I'm like, okay, I love Dynasty Warriors games and I love the spin-off, so I decided to give it a shot. And it's really good. The reason why I really like the Dynasty Warriors spin-off games is because they do a good job adding the spin of the original series. So for like Hyrule Warriors, you had items and stuff and like big boss fights. Fire Emblem Warriors, you had like the you can sort of like command your units to do whatever, and you can like rank them up like, you know, Fire Emblem games. This game acts up more like an RPG where you can have like 4 party members and you have different skills and abilities and MP and stuff like that. And it just feels like a Dragon Quest game where you're beating the shit out of a lot of things, and it's really good. So yeah, I just love these spin-off games just because of how much like love and attention to give to the original like source material while still being a Dynasty Warriors game. So yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it. I have like 20 hours in it because they're very addicting games. I love these games so much. I don't actually play the original Dynasty Warriors games, but all the spin-offs have been like super good. So I know they're making a Persona 5 one too, and I'm super excited for that. So yeah, overall I'm having a great time with that game too. And that's it. That's all I've been playing because the games are long.
Okay. So what I've been doing, obviously been playing League of Legends. I've actually taken a break because that game is really mentally taxing, especially now. So there's been like a sort of like uprise within the community about like, you know, toxicity and like griefing and like solo queue, which has been prominent for a while, not gonna lie. Just because Riot is just not punishing like when you're like soft inting and things like that, and like, you know, Voyboy, like, you know, probably the nicest dude in like the League community finally came out and was like, yo, you know, like, Riot, you gotta like do something because I'm tired of getting griefed like every other game because like someone has like a mental breakdown or like, you know, they just don't want to play anymore. And like when that happens, like you literally can't do anything when you're in the game because it's like, all right, this guy just doesn't want to play, and he's gonna like soft end and like make it look like he's trying, but he's not. And like it's kind of hard to tell when you're watching the game from an outside perspective, unless you're watching it from like a streamer's perspective, because when you're watching it from a streamer's perspective, it's very easy to like catch. And like the automated systems at Riot aren't gonna catch someone soft inting unless they do it enough times or like they type something that's like really bad.
Right.
So, you know, I decided to take a 2-day break because this shit is just so bad. Like man, that's all I can really say. Like it is just really, really bad that like I'm just struggling to like get past like high diamond games, and it's just, I'm not sure if it's me, and I'm not sure if it's the system. I feel like it's more of the system than me, but then again, you know, I don't want to put fully blame on like the whole like ranking thing because I think that is just unfair. But I do think I have been playing bad some games, but the games I am playing well in, I'm just getting griefed, so it's just unlucky. But TFT, still very casual about it. I really don't care about like what's going on in the meta. There's like this new thing called like mana printing where like there's this new item, it's like chalice, or it looks like a chalice, and like pretty much when someone casts a spell, it gives people around them more mana. So the mana printing strat is like someone finally figured this out. You pretty much take a Sona, right?
Yeah.
And you put that item on her, and then you keep putting tier items on her, and then once you do that, she just keeps printing mana for the rest of your team because she doesn't move. So like your team's just gonna keep spamming spells, and I'm just like, that sounds really dumb. Pretty much what I do every game is like I go for cybernetics, and then if I can't find cybernetics, I go for brawler blasters. I do that every game. If I get punished for it, so be it. If I take 7th, 8th, I don't care. I'm pretty much just playing that game to have fun. When it comes to the Animal Crossing update, like you said, I really did like that update, especially the whole like puzzle map thing. I thought that was like really, really fun to do because I was like, man, like this shit's like kind of interesting because I have to like actually remember like how to get to certain places because like there's only one way you could go because of like the way the holes are placed and things like that. So, and you know, you get rewarded for bells or whatever it may be. So I thought that was pretty fun. Played more Ring Fit. Haven't done it in a while, not gonna lie. Haven't done it in like a week, but I was playing it the week before, and you know, it's still Ring Fit, still working my ass off. Valorant finally got a ranking system. I'm fucking Iron 3, literally the lowest rank. So the way Valorant ranking works, instead of like, you know, like Iron 1's like the highest, no, I actually have placed Iron 1. So Iron 1's is the lowest, and then it goes up to Iron 2, then Iron 3, and then Silver 1. So it's the opposite of leagues sort of thing.
That's weird.
So yeah, it's definitely weird because I was just like, my brain's just not understanding it at first, but whatever. Valorant's still Valorant, it's very fun with friends. We do argue a lot just because of how it is. But yeah, it's still a super duper fun game. And then the last thing I've been doing is watching the Clone Wars because they recently wrapped up the final season, which is exclusive on Disney Plus. I've been watching it on Disney Plus, and that show is interesting. I did start watching it like a while back, and I recently picked it up just because Darth Maul was trending one week because because a really cool thing happened during the episode or whatever, and I was like, now I kind of want to watch because someone that I follow tweeted when you watch the final season of the Clone Wars, you're gonna watch episode 3 differently from a different perspective, which I found to be very interesting. But I'm currently on season 3, halfway there, and there's I think 4 more seasons I have to watch or something like that.
It's very long, yeah. Yeah,
it is definitely very long. Our other friends are definitely clowning me, what the fuck are you doing? It's just gonna take you forever. I'm like, I'm gonna get it done. Don't worry about it. But the storylines that this show tells are very interesting. So it's a anthology series. I think I mentioned this before. It is a anthology series, so pretty much you can watch whatever episode, and it'll be they will tell you what's been happening, and then you'll get right into the meat of the episode. And I'm like, that is very cool because you don't have to continuously watch the show to get a understanding of what's going on. Obviously, I could just watch the last season and kind of just get the gist of it, but I want to watch the entire show, grow with these characters, because I know the new character Ahsoka, she's a pretty important role within the show. Obviously, she's not in every episode, obviously, because there are episodes where they focus on the clones or Obi-Wan or other characters, which is very interesting. Definitely the most boring episodes are with Padme and politics and things like that, and I'm just this shit is just filler to me. I honestly don't want to watch it. I kind of just put it on in the background and then just let it play so I get a understanding of what's going on. But the show is made for kids. So a lot of it is Saturday morning cartoon sort of vibes where it's oh my god, we need to find this person, and then oh my god, this person's part of the good guys, and then they turn bad because of this thing or whatever, and I'm just all right, whatever, just get me to the next episode so something interesting can happen with the Jedis or whatever, because that's definitely the more interesting stuff. But yeah, overall, so far so good. I have been liking the show a lot. Definitely the most interesting antagonist is Cade Bane or something like that. I know his last name's Bane, but he's pretty much a bounty hunter, and when he first got introduced into the show, he was part of the season 1 finale going into season 2, and his character, everything he did during that time, he would just get away with it, and it was just the most insane things that would happen, oh my god, no one's ever broken into the Jedi vault, and then he does it, and then he gets away with it, and I'm like, what the fuck, this guy's actually insane. So obviously he does eventually get caught, spoilers or whatever, but it just, they can't just focus on chasing this guy the entire season, for 22 episodes. So eventually he does get caught or whatever, but yeah, so far I'm liking it. I know that there are going to be those filler episodes, quote unquote, with the Senate and politics and things like that, and I'm just just fucking get me out. But hopefully when I get to the finale, I will have that same opinion as my one friend on Twitter did, where it's I'm gonna view episode 3 differently. So hopefully 2 weeks from now I'll be that much closer to it.
Yeah, pog.
True. Let me just take some water real quick. All right. Let's get into The Last of Us Part 2 and everything that's happened to it since the last episode. So,
yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, a lot has happened within 2 weeks for The Last of Us Part 2. So first up, it's not on the dock, but pretty much the parts of the game got leaked, which is very interesting because I was like, this shit can't be real. But supposedly it was real, and I have not seen the leaks. If you're going to spoil it for me, I don't give a fuck. Because at this point, if I get spoiled, it is what it is. Because it's out there on the internet. If you want to see them, you can probably just look it up. do whatever, because it was on YouTube. I'm pretty sure those things have been taken down, but there are videos of people talking about it on like their YouTube channel. I think Angry Joe did videos on it and things like that, and people are like outraged about these leaks or whatever because of like what the leaks actually contain. So I'm not exactly sure what that's all about. So like, what was your like first reaction when you heard like The Last of Us 2 got like leaked?
Yeah, I just saw it because I was just on my bed and I saw it right when it came out on like Reddit. It's just like oh, Last of Us 2 just got like leaked. I'm like, what? So I just read it because I don't really care too much about The Last of Us. So I read all the leaks. I'm like, is that true? And then like it kept getting confirmed and over again. Like, oh crap, it is true. And then like the videos started popping up too. I didn't watch the videos, but apparently, you know, that is what it is. Like it was true. Like all these leaks apparently are true. Again, I say quote unquote true because we're not going to know until the game fully comes out. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of evidence that's saying that this, like, all the leaks so far have been true. And yeah, people are not happy about the leaks. Personally, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it is a big deal, but like honestly, I think it's a little interesting, honestly. But I can see why people are upset about it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But yeah, it was a wild time for this game, and to say that's gonna hurt sales, I don't know, because people felt that way about the Final Fantasy VII remake as well. But while that game didn't really get leaked, quote unquote, it did break Street Date because that was when the pandemic was really starting to hit. So Square just decided, all right, people just start handing this game out like a week like earlier. So when people got up to the ending, you know, and then people would like shout about the ending and like people would get mad. But the game's still sold like crazy anyway. So I'm having like similar feelings about this game where, yeah, everyone kind of knows what's going to happen now, but I feel like it's still going to sell really well. So it won't really matter in the end. But it might be one of those games that get like 10 out of 10s from critics and like 4 out of 10s from like everyone else.
Normal people.
Yeah, that's my whole theory about all this.
Yeah, I think people saying that like this is gonna affect sales are like obviously not like thinking about the situation as a whole. Like people like me, like I'm like I already have a fucking pre-order. Like I'm definitely still gonna buy it. Like I don't care if like the leaks were good or bad. Like I want to experience the game for myself, sort of thing. But yeah, like when you're talking about a game as big as The Last of Us is, and the fact that people were waiting for part 2 for so long, and you know when it did get delayed, it was kind of just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like my theory as to why they delayed it was because of the pandemic, and they just wanted to make sure that they can maximize sales as big as they can. So when this leak did happen, which is going to go into the next part of the story, is that they announced a release date or updates for The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima for their release date. So The Last of Us Part 2 is going to come out on June 19th, which is next month. And then Ghost of Tsushima is the month after that, with July 17th. So because of the leaks, I think Sony and Naughty Dog were pressured to like release the game as soon as possible because they were like, oh shit, like parts of the game are now out. And I guess they also wanted to push back Ghost of Tsushima just because they wanted to, I guess, make sure that the game, you know, had enough time or whatever, and, you know, not overlapping with each other, because I know there's a lot of people, including myself, that want to play Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think a month span in between there is, like, good enough, like, 100%. But, yeah, like, they definitely were pressured to announce a new release date because of the leak, which you can see as a good thing. But I think that overall, like, that is kind of, like, it sucks because I know, you know, for these people that have been working on the game and, you know, like time crunch and like things like that, like they've been working their fucking ass off to get this game out, and the fact that parts of the game are now, you know, out there on the internet and people know about it, like it just sucks overall. But hey, we got a release date out of it, right? So
yeah, it's true. I felt like they really got pushed into this because of the leaks, because it happened literally the morning after. It's like, Last of Us 2 is coming out June 19th. I mean, it could just be coincidental, but you know, you never know anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then Sony did identify the leakers. They were not affiliated with Sony or Naughty Dog. So the prevalent rumor that was going around was that like this was like a, you know, like Naughty Dog employee that was like super mad at the studio because like, you know, like they didn't like, you know, release the game when they should have, and you know it got delayed because of the coronavirus and things like that. So the Naughty Dog employee was just mad and upset and kind of just like leaked the game. So it was hackers, and they pretty much exploited a vulnerability in previous Naughty Dog developed games, which is very interesting. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, what the hell? So I think the main theory that's going on right now with this like leak is that like they took that exploit from a previous game, and pretty much someone was playing parts of that game, and like whoever hacked into it, like they pretty much just like captured that footage and like just uploaded it online. So like that is just some crazy shit to hear.
Yeah, that's
honestly.
crazy. Yeah, because again, that rumor about the disgruntled Naughty Dog employee, that was going around like crazy. Like everyone thought that was true until like a few days later, where it's like no, that wasn't the case. It's like maybe some hacker was able to like exploit like some weird backdoor into like Naughty Dog server so they could play Last of Us 2. That's insane. Like again, I don't even know if this is really confirmed or not, but that's an insane like way to like get into like a company's like server basically to play these like old builds of the game. Like yeah, that's scary. Honestly.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like future releases, especially for Ghost of Tsushima, like they're probably playing it like super duper safe, where it's like, all right, I don't know how they're going to like prevent like this from happening again, but I would assume that like they're gonna play on like PS4s that aren't really like connected to like I guess servers or whatever or something like that, because I don't know like technical things or whatever when it comes to like this entire hack as a whole, because I'm just like that just sounds crazy to me, but. Yeah, hopefully like Ghost of Tsushima like doesn't get leaked, because that would definitely suck too.
Yeah, that would suck, but I feel like The Last of Us 2 had more writing on it just because it's a series now that people really like, and people are really looking forward to the continuation of that story. Ghost of Tsushima, you could spoil it, but you don't really like know anything about the characters, so you don't like who would really care until you play it. I'm not saying it's not going to have a good story or anything. I'm just saying no one really knows anything about the game yet. With this game, people really care about the characters, so they kind of care about what's going to happen in the story and stuff like that. So that's why this leak hurts this game way more than like a new IP.
Any other game.
Yeah, or any other game really. Because usually when people talk about The Last of Us, I don't really hear much people praising the gameplay or whatever. It's mostly about the characters and the story that people really care about. So having the story be leaked like this is like that's a big blow, because that's like what people really want to see. They want to see more of what's going to happen to these characters and things like that. So
Very, very true. So after that, Neil Druckmann, he did like a little like iPhone video, and they uploaded it to the Naughty Dog sort of YouTube channel. And this thing has a lot of dislikes, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But they've disabled comments, which is understandable, because you don't want assholes just like leaking the game in the comments. Yeah. So, but like this like little like 2-minute 30-second video, like he said the game officially went gold, so they are done with the game like entirely, like finally the game's done. If they find any bugs, they're probably going to do a day one patch like every other game, and he said he cried during his last playthrough, which was very interesting, and I'll get to that in just a second. And he says no matter what you've seen or what you heard, he said nothing compares to playing it, which is 100% true when it comes to video games, because you could watch a streamer play the game, and you can form your opinion based on that stream, but you can't form your opinion based on playing that game for yourself, sort of thing. Which I think a lot of people, especially on the internet these days, that are like just like trolls or whatever, they'll base their opinion on like things that they've seen and things like that, but they've never actually played the game for themselves. But some things you don't have to play for yourselves to really get a feel for it. For example, Sonic Boom. Like no one has to play Sonic Boom to see how bad that game is, but I played it myself, so I can 100% say that game is trash. But yeah, when it comes to this statement, like, man, like he said he cried during his last playthrough. Like, bro, like it can't be that serious, man. Like,
it's just crying over his own thing. It's a little weird.
Yeah. It just seems a little like egotistical to me, which I think is why a lot of people like dislike the video, which makes sense. Like I didn't dislike it. I didn't like or dislike the video or whatever, because I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
bro, you already knows what happens when you cry.
It's like, didn't you like direct the game or some shit, But yeah, it just seems a little goofy that like he's just like threw that in there, and I know that like he threw that in there just to say it, just like get people hyped, but like, bro, you're just like being written up on like news articles and things like that. Like Neil Druckmann cried over The Last of Us 2 during his last playthrough, which like a meme on Twitter is like Neil Druckmann, congrats Neil Druckmann on doing Neil Druckmann things, which I was just like, that is a fucking fantastic tweet, because like
true.
There's no reason to like or like there is a reason to like, you know, get emotional over something you've created, but like to like full blown just like cry over it when you know what's gonna happen, it just seems a little much in my opinion.
Yeah, but you know, his last statement, or like, you know, nothing compares to playing it. He is true on that. Like you said, a lot of people are looking at these leaks just like as bullet points on what's gonna happen in the story. And, you know, I think for most movies, if you see someone spoil it like that, you're going to be like, that's kind of stupid. But, you know, you have to kind of experience the whole thing with context to really see if it's, like, good or not, you know? Like, I don't think it's really fair for this to be, like immediately just shot as bad if you haven't seen the whole thing, you know, like, everything with context of what's going to happen. Like, you know, it could still be, like, not great, but I think people should still give it a chance, like, when the full game comes out before labeling it as bad. Like, I'm not even the biggest fan of The Last of Us, and I'm not even a big fan of, like, modern Naughty Dog that much, but, like, you know, you should still give it a chance with context, like, with, like, anything, you know? Like, I think Endgame or Infinity War got leaked and everyone hated it, and then, like, when it actually came out, everyone liked it. Because, you know, you gotta watch it with context to see if it's actually, like, how everything ties together. You can't just look at the major plot points and be like, that's kind of bad, you know?
Yeah, like, imagine if the ending for Infinity War got leaked. Like, that shit would have been over. Because, like, that's, like, the main, like, selling point for that movie, in my opinion, is, like, the crazy ending that movie had. And, you know, like, one of, like, another, like, major, like, movie spoiler that was going around was, you know, The Force Awakens. Like, people in Twitch chat would just type in Han Solo dies, and I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks to get spoiled, but, you know, like, when you actually watch the movie and see exactly what happens, it makes it more impactful for some people, especially if you've been a huge Star Wars fan your entire life, you know, seeing that character go the way he did. But, yeah, like, people just, like, yelling out spoilers and things like that, like, I think I'm not gonna lie, I think I was on Twitter and I almost caught myself like watching like a spoiler from The Last of Us Part 2, but I stopped myself because I was like, wait, I haven't seen this video before, so I'm just gonna click off of it. So you know, I honestly almost trolled myself, but you know, like if someone's gonna troll me after listening to the podcast and just like leak it to me like on Twitter or some shit, like I really don't care. I'm just gonna block you and then just move on with my day or whatever. But you know, it is what it is. Parts of the game are out there, but I think once I get my hands on it and actually play for myself, then I'll form my opinion on it, and then I'll figure out what was leaked and things like that, and then, you know, have a opinion of that for myself. But, you know, it is what it is. And then lastly, they released a story trailer for the game, and I still don't know what the fuck's going on. I know that parts of this trailer supposedly have like leaks, or like parts of the leaks that were shown prior are in this trailer now, but just by watching this trailer, and like once again, comments are disabled, likes are disabled, which I do not want to see what this like and dislike ratio are, because people are upset for whatever goddamn reason, because I still don't know what the hell's going on with the leaks. You know, like I still don't know what the hell's going on with the story, which is a good thing. So yeah, I'm very glad about that, and hopefully when this game does come out, it is a game worthwhile of the experience. Hopefully it lives up to the sequel. You know, if it is better than the first game, that is great. If not, then whatever, you know, because at this point, like, the game has been eluding over people's heads for so long. Like when they first initially announced it, I believe during the PlayStation Experience conference, however many years ago, you know, now that it's finally going to come out, I think it's going to be a relief for the studio and a lot of fans that it is finally out there, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when the game comes out. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything else you want to like add to like anything we talked about?
I think I've said everything that I could say about like spoiling it. So
okay, so I think I'm pretty much done as well. Yeah, hopefully when this game comes out, it's you know, like that objectively, not subjectively, sort of thing.
Yeah, you know, you always have to give it a chance. Again, like, while it might not seem great when you just read it, you know, maybe with context it's better. Again, I'm not saying it's not gonna be one way or the other. Like, it could still be like, you know, bad as people think it's gonna be, but it could also be better than people think it's gonna be. You know, it all depends on how the whole thing comes together. So we just gotta wait until it comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait for all of these people that are just mad and upset to still, go on the PlayStation Network store and just buy the game for $60 and just call it a day. And I'm just like,
I mean, the game is still
why were you so mad?
Yeah, the game's still gonna sell like crazy, like no matter what. So like, yeah, people saying this is gonna hurt sales probably isn't gonna be true, but yeah.
Yeah, because like most people are in quarantine. Like, what else are you gonna do? Especially if you played the first game, you want to see what's gonna happen in the second one. You might as well see what's gonna happen. Might as well buy it or whatever. People will do what they want, but I think this happens a lot with like people and fans getting like upset and like super duper mad, and then they like still buy the game for whatever reason. Like, for example, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, people were like, this game looks like shit. They're reusing animations, this and that, which that sucks. But you know what? Game Freak's doing what they want to do. It works. Like, they don't have to like overthink Pokemon, because it is Pokemon we're talking about here. And then the game comes out and it still sells crazy well. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was like that too, and I bought it anyway. So I'm like, I'll buy anything Pokemon related. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it, but that's just how fans are about things. So yeah, so that's why I'm saying like all these leaks isn't gonna hurt the sales. It's still gonna sell well. So because that's just how things are.
Yeah, it just pushed Sony and Naughty Dog to like finally come up with a release date. So
yeah.
All right, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to the Travis Damian Podcast, episode 36. We will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
See ya.